You're somebody that wants to overcome exceptional challenge. Do that in many different ways. But we need to know in that process, what is it that I don't want? What does not align with me in order to even have clarity around what it is I do want? So you might set yourself out for a particular result, thinking it's going to feel, that you're going to experience it, and it's going to become something that you created an expectation around.
The Tony Bova Show, built by pain, designed for freedom.
To a very humbling moment that just happened in the last 10 minutes. A little raw authenticity about even just this video. So I apologize for the audio in this video because I know it's not going to be phenomenal, but that's why we're here right now. You see, I had a whole plan to have my DJI put together very specifically for the new pod that I'm going to be doing, which is going to be this walking wisdom. Where I'm going to be sharing perspectives almost as if you were a one-on-one client and giving you those insights through storytelling and frameworks that will drastically impact your life. And I was reminded very quickly once I got to my destination when I was going to start recording on the little hiccups that happen in life that can literally change the momentum of our direction for our days, our weeks, our months, and even our years. We're fresh out into 2026, and everybody has their New Year's resolutions lists out. Everybody's executing differently. There's a new energy out there. It's a new year, and 2026 is going to be incredible. Absolutely incredible. But what happened to me today specifically is I had this whole plan to have my DJI, my audio, my visual, everything kind of connected. So, you don't get those frame shots of my hand in the way. And I was going to deliver this in a much more visually, but that did not go to plan because I forgot the memory card. I forgot the one piece of equipment that was so important that it would capture everything that I was going to say, everything I was going to do. And it reminded me really quickly because my response was, I started laughing. And it's usually what I do when I meet these problems now. I think typically in the past, what would have happened is it would have completely derailed my entire day. I would have been like, oh, there it is. I'm not supposed to do this. Well, there's a sign from the universe that I ran into a problem, therefore I can't go out with my plan. But I was like, aha! I have my phone. And it's gonna be jumping around. Audio is probably gonna suck. And my arm is gonna get really tired. But what I told myself is that's okay. I set out to do something and I'm gonna do it anyways. And whether or not this gets a lot of views or whatever, if it just reaches one ambitious man that wants to hear these lessons of wisdom and it's gonna impact his life, that's what matters. And so I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share with you about even this exact moment as I had to overcome something so stupid and small that could have not created this video, not given you the wisdom, it not being put out into the universe, for God not to do something with it. I could have succumbed to that. And I think we succumb to those on a daily basis. See, as men, we face these every single day. They show up. These little moments, and we want things to be executed well because we want to feel confident. We want to feel like as whatever we're doing, we can overcome it because we have the understanding. We can logically see the strategy. The strategy is when everything goes to shit, what do? How do I overcome this? How do I face that? That is the skill. That no quit mentality, that ability to meet the resistance was resilient. That you are able to see the resistance and lean into the resistance. That it doesn't have to overtake what you're trying to accomplish. Now I want to talk about this 3-part framework that's going to help you start to get clarity around the directions and decisions you need to make moving forward to start making decisive movement forward, even when things go to shit. You see, one of the most masculine things that you can do as a man, as an ambitious man, is one that is leading his family, his business, his life, in accordance. The thing that he can do is be decisive. We have to be able to make quick decisions. If you need to spend 24 hours to make every major decision that you have to overcome, then you are going to spend a long time in your life trying to chase something that won't be obtainable because it will disappear. If you cannot become decisive in knowing in that particular moment, is this for me or not, then you have to start working towards that. Now, I'm not saying this to shame you, that you're in the... Got my plow guy right here. I'm not saying that to shame you, because if it does take you 24 hours, that's okay. Let's figure out how to get it to 12. Let's figure out how to get it to 8. Let's figure out how to get it to 2. Sometimes things do need to be waited upon. I get that. But the further and clearer you get to being able to be decisive, the faster your life is going to move. You know, success loves speed. We love that as entrepreneurs to say success loves speed. What does that actually look like? And it starts with these 3 principles. The first principle is that I need to know what I don't want before I know what I do want. Whether you're dating or whether you're in a relationship or however your business is functioning, however you're approaching your mission, maybe you're a high top performer, but you're not an entrepreneur, that's okay. Maybe you're a veteran, maybe you're in law enforcement, maybe you're a first responder, maybe you're somebody that wants to overcome exceptional challenge. And we can do that in many different ways. But we need to know in that process, what is it that I don't want? What does not align with me in order to even have clarity around what it is I do want? Because you might set yourself out for a particular result, thinking it's going to feel, that you're going to experience it, and it's going to become something that you created an expectation around. But then once you get there, once you get to the result, you realize it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, and then it feels empty. And we want to avoid feeling empty as men, because when we're empty as men, we do not have the ability to give and serve and provide the type of energy we are intended to by God's design of us through our biology and our primal instincts and a deeper level of evolutionary consciousness. So we start to make out a list of things. So I'm going to use dating as an example because it's the easiest one to talk about. As you're dating, I would rather you focus on the things you don't want inside the relationship. I don't want you to picture, okay, I need her to be 5'2", 102 pounds with black hair, brown eyes. She has to be hourglass figure. She speaks in this particular manner. She has this level of intelligence. That's not what I'm talking about. Those things will all come. What I want you to think about is, how does she make me feel in these moments? Does it feel as though she has critical energy? Because I can guarantee you in the beginning phases of dating, if she has critical energy now, that moving forward 10 years down the road, the criticism is going to ruin you. Is she passive aggressive? Does she try to play coy games with you? You know, as the further you follow along with me and I talk about the dynamics between men and women and the masculine and feminine components, you're going to find that there are pieces of us relating with our women from a masculine standpoint. We're allowing them to have this fluidity and this, I'll call it feminine manipulation. We're actually going to encourage it, but not in the beginning phases. Now, we don't want to find women that are rigid and have this type of masculine energy where they feel like they need to be in control and they need to lead. That's not what feminine energy feels like. Feminine energy feels like fluidness, non-resistant, trusting, her ability to be led. This is not controlling. This is just the natural polaric dynamic. I'm going to share with you one particular thing, and there's going to be a lot of hate in the comments over this one thing, and that's okay. One of my standards when I was dating, when I wasn't with Sabrina, was that I would pay attention to whether or not a woman would allow me to open the door for her. Because what that told me was whether or not she was going to allow me to lead her, or she felt so independent that she couldn't be led at all, it was an instantaneous red flag to me. It turned me off instantaneously. Now, this isn't to say that every instance of her not allowing you to open the door for her. I'm just saying, does she hesitate before opening the door? Because she might not. We haven't been showing up enough as men, as general society, for women to expect us to open the door for them any longer. But there might be a hesitation. And you have to pay attention to it. One of the things I would do is I would say, hey, in the beginning of the day, I want to let you know, I really appreciate opening the door for you. So if you wouldn't mind waiting for me to open the door. So what I did there in that particular instance was I set the frame. I kind of shared my expectations with her, and I wanted to see what it was that she did with it. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of women that failed that test. They didn't want me to open the door for them, which is totally fine. Like, you can totally find a man that doesn't want to open the door for you. But for me and my standard and what I wanted, I knew that wasn't going to work. Because, 2 years in with Sabrina now, I still open her car door every single time we go to the car. I still open her door because I want to open her door. I want to honor her in such a fashion that I appreciate the type of energy she brings and support she brings into my life, that I want to honor her by doing this small act. And that small act speaks everywhere. Oh, when she comes to me and she says this and this, oh, honey, I don't know if I can pick, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. Do you think you could pick it up for me? I love hearing that, because when she says that to me, it's my signal to be like, oh, I gotta go handle this. She's giving me a problem to fix. This is unbelievable. I get to show how strong I am, right? That's the kind of energy. The second thing, once we understand what it is that we don't want, then we get to decide what it is that we do want. And now we need clarity. Around the clarity of this is being able to visualize this in great detail. It's not, I want lots of money in the bank. It's I want $2.5 million in the bank by the end of 2027. Being very specific. When you create the specifics around that in detail, for instance, like maybe it is you want a house. Maybe you're not in your ideal house and you want your ideal house. You have to start to visualize what it is that house looks like. How does the front of it look like? How many floors are in it? How many bathrooms are in it? What are the colors around it? So you get very specific on your goal so you know where you're moving towards it. Now, whether or not that shows up in your life, because things can change, your dreams can change, your visualizations can change, is not the point of it. It's just you need to have clarity around where it is you're going, because if you don't have the clarity around that, you cannot get there. Because you can create a vision board for 2026 with all of these things on it, but there's no direction forward to get there. The second part of this step, in step 2, is now we reach out to our higher power and we call it in. You can call it manifestation, you can call it whatever you want. And we start to humble ourselves to the reasons this should come into our life. That we understand that there's something bigger outside of us that can create this, because if we're all honest with ourselves, we're all gonna die, right? We're all gonna die, and we don't have full control over how our lives turn out. But there is something bigger, and that's what we long for as men. We want to have a meaningful, deep understanding of life, that we're making a big impact. The third step has another 2 parts. The third step is you have to actually go and take action. Just very similar to this particular video, audio, that had I not gone out and still created this, even though I met a bunch of different problems, it still would not have the impact I had set out for the day. Is you have to meet the resistance with action. And we have to start to pay attention to what is being resistant, start to lean into the resistance, so that it allows us to actually receive from God, the universe, Creator Jesus, whoever it is, what it is our dream to go out and become. So you have to know what you don't want. You have to have the clarity on what you do want. You have to start taking action even though problems arise. And you have to lean into the resistance, because every time you set out to do something, I guarantee you there's going to be a test from God, resisting you from the thing that you're trying to accomplish. Because in that test, what he's saying to you is, are you worthy of receiving this? Are you a good steward? As you resonate with the things that I said, and that you start to apply them to your own life, I just want to tell you that I appreciate you, that you were built by pain, you were designed for freedom, and that if you appreciated this episode, please click that like, that share, that comment, subscribe to this channel to listen to further episodes. I promise that they'll be recorded much better, they won't be less jumpy, and the audio will be much better. But we're here to take action, and we're here to become the greatest versions of ourselves. Thank you.